I'm joined, as you can see, by the Education Secretary, Gillian Keegan. So a very good morning to you. Thanks so much for coming in. We're told today that UK Border Force officials have been sent to Egypt to help evacuate the 200 civilians, British citizens, trapped in Gaza. So can you give us more details on that? What will Border Force officials be doing there?
Well, we know that 200 passport holders are there. They've sought consular advice to be able to leave the country. The Prime Minister has obviously called for that to be enabled. We've been in tense discussions with, well, he has with partners in the region, but we want the Border Force to be there to be prepared and ready if and when we can get the hostages out. So it's preparation so that we can be there, so that we've got everything available if we can get them out. But right now, you know, we still need to... we still need to agree that, and it still needs to be facilitated.
Well, yes, and the focus is the Rafah crossing, this border between Egypt and Gaza, of course. So have officials given you any cause for optimism that that Rafah crossing will open to allow British passport holders out?
We're still in the same position. We're calling for a pause to allow humanitarian aid in, and we're calling for the safe passage for British national passport holders to get out. So we're still in the same position, but Border Force going there is so that we can be prepared if we can get them out. Obviously, it's a very fluid situation on the ground. There's a lot of intense diplomacy going on, and that's obviously the Prime Minister and Foreign Secretary are leading that. But we just want to make sure we've got everything in place. We've got aid there at the border as well. We've sent a plane with lots of aid there as well, just so that we're ready to, if that pause is realised, which we've been calling for, that we're ready to optimise that as much as possible, to get things in as quickly as possible and get people out as quickly as possible.
What do you understand to be the block that's stopping that happening now?
Well, it's the same block that's been there all the time. You know, we've got, fighting going on, and...
and yet aid has been going in.
There is
limited amount.
Yes, there is some.
So what's the block to getting people out?
Well, we just need to have more of a pause, so that we've got a longer pause, so we can get more stuff in and we can get people out as well safely. So that's. I mean, it's the same situation, but we're just calling for the pause to be longer, so that we can operationalise getting the aid through. And we've obviously got to make sure it gets through to the right people as well, which is also the difficult situation here.
There are some relatives of Britons who are trapped in Gaza who really aren't very happy about this. Obviously, they're deeply concerned about their relatives, but they're not very happy with the government either. Some of them have talked about being disgusted. They say there's no light at the end of the tunnel. What reassurance can you give to people whose loved ones need to be evacuated?
I mean, I can understand they must be incredibly worried. I mean, there's such heartbreaking scenes coming from Gaza, from Israel, the photographs we're seeing, the things we're seeing online. It must just be absolutely terrifying for them. I mean, let's just remember why we're in this situation, though. Obviously, we're in this situation because Hamas, a terrorist organisation, went into Israel and carried out the most appalling atrocities. And we've supported all along the right for Israel to defend itself against that terrorist organisation. So we just need to be clear that it is Hamas that we should be directing our anger and our calls to.
In the meantime, there is also concern about civilians in Gaza. Would the government consider introducing an asylum scheme like Homes for Ukraine for people of Gaza?
I mean, we're not at that stage, obviously. We're at the stage now where the most important thing is to operationalise getting aid into Gaza to help people there, and also getting British nationals and other foreign nationals out as well. That's the main focus at the moment. And then, of course, we do support Israel's right to defend itself. You know, what happened in Israel, we mustn't forget. It's less than 3 weeks ago.
Would you rule out a scheme like that, though?
I'm not ruling in or ruling out. Obviously, that will be for others to consider. That's a matter for the Home Office and the Prime Minister, obviously.
And tell us a little bit about benefits as well, because British citizens fleeing the conflict between Israel and Hamas, we're told, will get easier access to benefits. So what does that mean practically in terms of support?
Well, I mean, we're always there to provide whatever support it needs. I mean, I don't have a detail of a scheme or any specific benefits, but, when people are in this situation, obviously they normally tend to lose everything. So when we're in, when people are in that situation, then we're always there to help support people.
You're here, of course, you're Education Secretary. Yeah. You want to talk about childcare issues as well today. you've announced an online tool for parents. So explain exactly what that will do.
Well, so what we're doing is introducing an increase in childcare. So there will be 30 hours free childcare from when your child is 9 months old until your child goes to school. And we're also introducing wraparound care all across the country. So 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. will be available to all parents. And there's different times when this is rolled out because there's different stages of it. It's going to take me and others quite a lot of work to make sure we've got all the places, etc. So there's two things we're announcing today. First of all, a website so people can go on, put their details in and find out what's coming and when it will be available to them. And secondly, to try and increase the places, the number of places, we've announced £100 million in capital funding to help nurseries expand, etc., but also £289 million to help that wraparound care be spread out across the country. So a lot of schools have this already, but all those areas where we don't have it, and to make sure it's always 8 till 6 as well.
Well, yes, so the £100 million is to increase that physical space. So
yes.
Nurseries are big enough to allow for more children.
Yeah, take an extra floor, an extension.
OK, but what about money to make sure that you can recruit more staff and pay staff adequately? Because there are some nurseries that say they're just not getting enough money to bring enough staff on board.
So we've increased the rates. So we recently increased the rates. We've been working with 10,000 nurseries to look at, what the impact is of the government's rates and what the impact will be when we're actually funding pretty much everything from 9 months old until till children go to school. So we've been working with those businesses to make sure we get the rates right. The rates get higher as the children get younger because there's more, obviously, people looking after younger children. So we've announced rates already for 3 and 4-year-olds, for 8-year-olds, to local authorities, and they're working through to localise those. And we'll also be shortly announcing the under 2 rate as well, which will be higher. So we've been working to make sure there's enough money in the system so that we've got thriving nurseries, so that when everybody comes to take advantage of their free childcare offer, they can get that in their local area.
OK, well, Gillian Keegan, we appreciate your time this morning. Thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you.